We are back and ready for the next run. Rebel Transmute any percent with Illegally Sam. Sam, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Alrighty then. Hello everybody, I am IllegallySam, and this is Rebel Transmute any percent. And I am not alone tonight, I am joined by a friend of mine.
Hey, I'm Snapcake. Happy to be here.
Alright, so yeah, for anybody who's never seen this game before, what do you mean you haven't heard of every indie Metroidvania ever? There's like 4 of them, that's it, right?
What do you mean you're not tracking every single Kickstarter indie game?
Yes, yeah, we did actually, both of us backed this game on Kickstarter. That is how I initially found out about it. But I figured we could just go ahead and get into things, because like I said, indie Metroidvania, just gotta get through the game as fast as possible, and I'm not expecting to see any glitches, so let's just go ahead and get started. Time will start after I clear this box right here. So time will start in 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Jill?
Thank you. I may or may not need it. Alright, so like I said, this is an indie Metroidvania 2D type style. And right off the bat, we're schmoovin'.
Yeah, the basic movement in this game is very, very comfortable. It's very good feeling. Just off the bat, you have a ground slide you can do. It moves you faster than walking, and you can jump out of it, which preserves your momentum. So this is very bread and butter for a lot of the run.
Yeah, exactly. Even though we will get a good number of movement upgrades throughout the run, this is the basics of it all. And another small little thing with the slide is that if you jump out of a slide, you do get less height than if you were to just jump from a standstill, which is relevant in a lot of places, but there also are a good number of spots where I do it intentionally so that I get less height, so that it just makes the specific jumps that I'm going for a little bit more convenient.
Yeah,
Right,
otherwise this is pretty standard Metroidvania affair. You got a short-range weapon there. We picked up a little syringe in the top left there. That's our way of healing.
Yes, that is Spark Blood. Basically, you know, I can heal with it, and then in order to heal a second time with it in the future, I will need to hit enemies a total of 6 times in order to refill it all of the way. There is a way to make it require less, but I skipped it because that takes like 5 seconds, and if I'm just good at the game, I don't need to worry about it.
Just be good.
Jokes aside, there will be a point about halfway through the run where I get another way of making it fill up a lot faster, besides the thing that just makes my shots give me more spark blood. So until then, it matters a little bit, but after that point it wouldn't even matter anyways. Also, we crash landed on this planet. There's some story and stuff. It doesn't really matter too much. The important thing is that I got a fuse to open that door. Yeah, the beginning of the game is just a lot of, hey, you landed on this planet, figure out what's going on, and go from there.
Yeah, the game starts in a pretty linear fashion, funneling you through basically this path we're taking, more or less, with some side detours, but it opens up a lot afterwards, which makes for some really, really fun routing.
Yeah, because basically, like, the first, 15-20 minutes of the run, it's not, 100% purely linear, but it is very much you have an intended way of going through the game, and there's not really a reason to deviate from that. After that point, the second half of the run is completely open-ended. And it took a lot of work to route things out as fast as possible. But speaking of things that are as fast as possible, it's time for the first boss. And I will be teaching you how to count. 1, 2, 3.
While Sam is counting, I'll give a little basic explanation. This is gray matter.
10.
We ended up finding a bug for gray matter, which I believe in modern versions of the game on PC at least is patched out, but
20.
what Sam's going to do is...
mean to me.
Yeah, being a little mean, unfortunate. Trying to get gray matter to do that little drop attack into the far left corner exactly, right as we go into a phase transition from damage, which will then get him stuck. And
Yeah,
now the second phase is free.
Unfortunately, this boss gives you bad RNG. It is 100% slower to go for that, and that's what happened here. However, it's funny.
It is.
So I always go for it, even if it loses me time. Ideally, if you get, you need exactly, like, the phase transition happens at, I forget if it's exactly 23 or 24. I want to say it was 24 hits. So that's why I was counting, I was counting out the exact number of hits so that I knew when to stop damaging it. If you time it out so that you get the 23rd hit and then it immediately gives you the attack and it lands in the corner, that is the fastest way to beat the boss. But like I said, if it gives you bad RNG, just beat the boss normally. Phase 2 isn't actually that slow.
But we work for style points.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Glitches are fine if they're funny, right? That's definitely what this marathon's called.
Very long title, but yeah, I think that's right.
We all right after that boss fight, we did also get the first upgrade. This first upgrade is basically like the definition of this is just required to progress, and that's it. Because it let us fire through those like little gelatinous blocks, but now more importantly, it's time for quarry skip.
Time for some speed.
I'm jumping a little too high.
Time for some speed. There we go. Well done.
Yeah, that is... I don't know why that happens. It just kind of does. But if you, like, hold down and left on the D-pad and, like, into a wall like that and then jump up so you just barely land on a platform, that happens after you slide. I don't know why. I don't know if any of us know why, but it lets us make a jump that we're not supposed to, and now we can skip most of this area.
One of those little mysterious bits of tech this game has that, truly speaking, is probably not routed to the fullest extent it could be, but happens to have extremely useful use right there.
Yeah. And the main thing there is that when I mentioned you have to hold down and left on the D-pad, I do specifically mean the D-pad. If you use it on the analog stick, it will not work. And you can also get through that without using that trick by, like, baiting one of the enemies over to the ledge and bouncing off of it or something, stuff like that. But, like, that's slower and also significantly more annoying, so I was very glad when this was found. Alright, also this is the next boss. This boss is a joke, because it has a rage mechanic where if you do enough damage, it has those red particles and starts doing the jump around and slam down attack. But if you do enough damage, it will literally always be in that pattern, and you can just defeat the boss without it ever doing another attack. There we go.
Very nice.
Would you believe me if I said that was a little slow, despite the fact that I still got the boss in that pattern the entire time?
Yeah, not joking when he says, you know, it can just be locked into the rage phase if you do enough damage. It's like a crazy DPS check right at the start of the game. It's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those bosses where it's like, if you know what you're doing and you know how to do the boss as fast as possible, it's really satisfying. But even if you don't, it's not like the boss is, like, extremely difficult. It's the second boss in the game. Also, now we have an air dash. It's an air dash.
You love air dashes. Everyone loves air dashes.
Yeah, so when I mentioned earlier that the slide is still the bread and butter of the movement, but it just adds on to that, this is the basis of that, basically, because... yeah, you could slide and then jump and then air dash, and it all just helps you maintain as much speed as possible all the way through. Also, it is time for a slight detour, because as I understand it, we have met the incentive.
We sure did!
So I have to make a slight detour. This is the first of 3 detours that I will have to make as part of the incentive, because for anybody who does not know what the incentive is, which is probably everybody, maybe even including the people running the marathon, the incentive is to get a pet armadillopede, and what that entails in terms of the actual gameplay is that there's an augment, which this game has a system called augments. It's like kind of like the charms in Hollow Knight, where you have enough space, you have a certain amount of spaces, and you can equip as many as you want up until you reach the maximum, and they all modify things. And the augment that I need to find for the incentive does require me to collect some extra spaces so I can actually equip it.
It's a valuable sacrifice. It is a worthy thing to go out of the way for because we get a funny dog.
And it is definitely a dog. Don't look behind the air quotes.
Do not pay too close attention.
The guy's a little in the way. Yeah, whatever. I'll just damage
These guys
through
are
it.
very obnoxious. They're snipers, and the projectile they set down or they shoot lays down an entire thing of thorns up there, which you have to pretty carefully bait out if you're not lucky to just move right past them.
All right, and I am getting actually a couple heal cancels where if you heal the same frame you go through a loading zone, it plays the full healing animation while the game's loading you into the next room, and that just cuts down the heal time a little bit because you can overlap it with the door animation. All right, now it's time for the real detour, where I actually get the augment that I need for the incentive.
Oh, man, yeah. I haven't seen this in a bit. I'm curious how you do this.
This room is very funny if the RNG goes the way it's supposed to. Because first there's a little small armadillipede guy, and then I hide in the corner, 2 armadillipedes spawn, and they just jump straight into the top left there.
I forgot they can do that.
Alright, I'm just going to stay here until the other one jumps in, because it's funny. There we go. Because they put a little obstacle there to make the room more hazardous, but yeah. It also kills the enemies. Alright, and then if I talk to this guy, he gives me a scent synthesizer. Now, the next time I go back to one of these save stations, I can equip that, and I will have a pet armadillipede for the rest of the run. Unfortunately, that will not be for a little bit, because I will not be going back to a save station until after the next boss fight. But in the meantime, you get to imagine what that will look like.
And it's a purely beneficial upgrade. There are no downsides to it at all.
Normally, yes. Specifically in the speedrun, there is a small downside, unfortunately, but it is not a huge downside. Or if you play the game at launch, there is also a huge downside of it would sometimes crash the game, but that doesn't happen anymore. Also, I kind of glossed over the whole augment system. I should explain a little bit more closely some of the ways that we're using it. So the augment system, you start out with 3 augment slots, but one of those augment slots is taken up by your core systems. And what that entails is you have 4 augments that are all worth a quarter of a slot. And those 4 systems are your HUD, putting your location on the minimap, or just the full map, I should say. One of them sets up what happens when you die, and one of them is so that you can heal. You might have noticed it briefly earlier, but I unequipped 2 of those. One of those is the map one, that one doesn't matter. And the other one that I unequipped is the one that affects how you die. So if you die and you're using the default augment, you drop a health core at the location that you died, and you have lower max health until you go back and retrieve it. Or you can pay money at a save station to recover it, for a price. I unequipped that, and instead, now what happens when I die is I just lose 30% of my money. And so you can imagine, losing money is faster than losing health. And because I will be taking... Yeah, I will be taking intentional deaths later, so that is why that is relevant. And while I do need money for something later in the run, I have routed the money out so that losing 30% on death doesn't matter.
Yeah, luckily there's only one particular purchase we make not super far from here. After that, death is essentially just a free means of travel.
Yes, because dying takes you back to the last save station that you used, which is why I am taking intentional deaths later. But, yeah. Also, now it's time for the funny cocoon. It's dead.
I hope you enjoyed the Pogo cocoon.
Now we have to fight an actual boss. Because it's time for the sniper moth. This boss is unironically pretty difficult. I do die to this boss pretty regularly.
Yeah, especially since this isn't how the boss originally was. This game had a major revision a while after it came out that changed a handful of things. This was probably one of the most noteworthy changes, was this boss was just completely redesigned, given this new boss room. Much harder, I would say. Much harder.
Yeah. It is also unfortunately slower, but there's a number of other changes in that revision that made things faster overall, which is why I'm still running on this patch. But this boss specifically is about 45 seconds slower. Because the way this boss used to work is, in addition to the arena and the attack changes, the main change is the fact that before, all of its attack cycles here were time-based. Now they're damage threshold based. So once I do enough damage, it'll fly back up into the top of the room. Before, it would just stay at the bottom and attack you until enough time passes. And so you could just completely wail on it until enough time passes, and you could defeat the boss in 2 cycles, potentially even 1. I don't think anybody ever pulled it off, but it might have been possible. But regardless, it was a lot faster than the 3 cycles that we have to do now.
Yeah, one of those, like, theorized 1 cycles, I'm pretty sure, which if you went out of your way to grab some upgrades beforehand, you probably could do, but it's just not something we really saw.
Yeah, the only issue is all of the damage upgrades are locked behind the upgrade you get from this fight.
Oh, yeah, I think you get the gun upgrade, but you can't, can you?
Yeah, exactly. However, the one damage upgrade that you can get before this fight is the pet armadillopede.
I knew
But
it.
that doesn't really help you too much, because the upgrade that we get from this boss here is an extra projectile, because we get the ability to break those little pink clusters, those little clusters, because we have a bomb now. More importantly, we're going to force respawn. And most importantly, we get to say hi to our friend.
There he is.
So yeah, this guy will just be following us around for the rest of the run now, and it will attack enemies. Even if I don't want him to attack enemies, he will attack enemies.
It will attack enemies. It will jump around, to have a snack here and there. Don't know what he's eating on that metal floor, but he's finding something tasty.
Hey, power to him.
With the bombs unlocked, as Sam pointed out, we can break some of those pinkish purple blocks like the one there. There were actually, those platforms we were writing up have been there the whole time to get up to the higher levels of that room. Just they were off screen, and they had one of those little pink purple blocks on them that were locking them in place. So because we knew where they were, we could just shoot a bomb upwards, and then off screen it would pop the block, keeping the platform in place. Thus, we just get a quick shortcut all the way up, which, hey, same thing happening right here. There's a little platform that was just freed.
Exactly. It makes this section a lot faster than it would be otherwise. There's like an entire wave fight that we're skipping, among other things.
He's in the wall. Get him out. Get him out.
Yeah, no, if you just, honestly, don't watch my gameplay for the rest of the run, just watch the armadillopede for the rest of the run. It's gonna do some goofy stuff.
Oh, that's
as
what
its
I've been
pathfinding
doing.
tries to...
That's what I've been doing.
That's the correct
I just
thing
love
to
those
do,
little
honestly.
goofy jumping moments.
Just sort of
Yeah,
stand
'cause
there and then woo.
Its
Yeah.
pathfinding is questionable at best.
As he drowns himself in the water.
He's having a little snack down there.
Yeah.
He's fine.
Don't worry
got
about
his-
it.
He's got his favorite music on. The AC's on.
All right. Back to the less interesting part of the game. It's time for the next boss fight. This is the
Yeah.
bloat specimen. This boss is pretty annoying, especially to do quickly, but it also will showcase how the bomb modifies combat. Specifically, in that, in addition to my short range blast, I also have the bomb, which has pretty much infinite length until it goes off. And so I will just be constantly firing and taking pot shots where I can with my regular blaster. And if I have a line of sight with the bomb, I will be firing that at the boss. The
Yeah,
bomb
it's
does
essentially a double in DPS.
yeah, like the bomb does 1.5 times as much damage as my basic blaster shot. And so while I can't fire it as quickly, obviously extra damage means the fight will go faster. Alright, he's being a little annoying, but that's okay.
Also,
This chance.
Armadillopede not being very useful here, huh?
Yeah,
I'm surprised he can't hit the
unfortunately-
boss.
Unfortunately, he is a bit vertically challenged.
No.
I feel that.
Yeah, probably the best that he can't hit the boss, though, because you might have seen as the boss was glowing a light blue, it got knocked around by the shots by crazy and pinballs everywhere. So having an extra unpredictable random source of damage, like ping-ponging the boss around, would be unpleasant.
Whee!
Whee!
So yeah, now we
Alright.
have the next major portion of our movement. This is the bounce. And this is the part where, even casually, the game opens up. In the speedrun, oh boy does it open up.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you want to talk bread and butter movement? Like, if the slide dash is the bread, this is the butter. So the bounce normally bounces you about as high as a normal jump, but you'll see here that Sam's getting like some insane height just from standstill. Something to do with forgiveness mechanics on jumps, like coyote frame times, lead to the ability to bounce and jump like a frame or two later, give or take. And this just sends you flying all the way up. It is a very interesting set of interactions between mechanics that just leads to some really fun movement. And it's not like completely free to do or anything. It definitely takes a bit of skill, but just feels so good to pull off. On top of that, you can combine it with a bomb, which is an intended interaction where if you bounce off a bomb you place, you get sent flying. Sort of like what we do just from standstill, but you can combine the two together and you can get some very, very big height.
Yeah, so we call them super bounces and super bomb bounces. I think you could probably guess why. But the thing that you might have noticed that I grabbed something and then went back to the last save station using a force respawn. That was an augment that gives me a double jump. I now have a double jump. Double jump in this game is optional.
It's a very, it's a pretty weak double jump by itself. It's more of like a little double float, but it is still more or less a double jump and is actually required for a upcoming trick.
Yeah, basically, you could beat the entire game casually without the double jump. I beat the game without the double jump because I didn't realize that it was a double jump when I picked it up, and so I just never equipped it. But in the speedrun, it is what allows us to skip as much stuff as we do after this point. Also, that augment I just picked up there is Wave Blaster. It is the biggest way that we augment our damage going forward.
Yeah, it turns our shot into a more of like a shotgun spread, with 5 beams total, I believe.
Yes.
And each beam counts as 1 hit when it connects with an enemy. On top of that, each beam also fills the meter, the little syringe in the top left, as if it did 1 individual hit. So essentially, every time we get in the face of an enemy, shotgun blast them, we get a full health syringe, we do way more damage, and with that gun upgrade that Sam just bought, we now do even more damage.
Yeah, the upgrade that I purchased gives us about 1.5 times as much damage. Oops, I forgot to actually equip Wave Blaster. That's not a huge deal. I just will need to do it at the next station I go to. And the Wave Blaster basically doubles our damage if we hit with every shot. Here, I'll just make a quick pit stop, equip it now so I don't forget later. So basically 1.5 times damage times 2 times damage, and you can see why we're able to beat the game as quickly as we can at this point.
Yeah, this game's augment system is very fun. You know, it's, like Sam said, very Hollow Knight. I think it's, personally, I'm a little more on the side of like a Nier Automata with the exact way it works, but it's still very modular, and a lot of the upgrades are either just, you know, cool, they're fun, they can be things that modify the gameplay in interesting ways, but some of them are also just very strong and very worth going out of your way for. So,
and completely broken, honestly.
Yeah, to be fair, in this case particularly broken, but yeah, it allows us to
the most broken one isn't even one that we get in the run because it is too slow.
Yeah.
The one that for some reason just one-shots every boss. Don't ask me why it works, I don't know. I don't think it's supposed to do that. Alright, but now we are moving into the hardest part of the run, the mines. Even casually, this is the hardest part of the game, just because it is the most difficult in terms of platforming. But it's the hardest part of the speedrun, both because of that and because of the upcoming trick called Mine Skip. If you thought this game needed a massive RNG check, then you were right, because we got one coming up.
Congratulations, it's here. We all love it. And it's only aided by having a big doofus jumping around randomly killing nearby enemies, as you'll see. Yes. So Sam's going to start aggroing these blue guys down this way. And the goal here is to open the door that Sam is next to with the switch on the other side of the wall. Now, notably, you might notice these blue guys are teleporting around. Like, oh, that was so close.
Yeah, I know. They're being very mean to me. And
They are.
like popping right next to it and then not actually hitting it.
So the hope here is that they teleport into or onto the switch, and their shots can activate that blinking switch to the left, which then lets us go into essentially the back way out of this entire area. This used to be a little easier, but with an update to the game, the geography of the area got changed a little bit. So now it's definitely more of an RNG check. You'll notice Sam is also putting bombs on them sometimes just before they teleport, in the hope that they teleport onto the switch, which the bomb will then set off by proximity.
There we go. We got it eventually.
Let's go. That was pretty good.
All right, I'm gonna grab some extra spark blood so I can heal an extra time. And now for the actual trick part of the trick.
Now for the complex part. So Sam's going to drop down, dash forward, shoot a bomb, and then pause the game. And during the pause time, the timer on the bombs actually continues to tick down. Then as soon as he unpauses, the bomb goes off. That was very smooth, by the way.
That was probably the best I've ever done it.
Yeah, seriously.
I don't know if I've ever gotten all 3 jumps first try.
That's crazy. That was really fast. Yeah, my goodness. And then we use the little double jump to boost up as the bomb goes off, which gives us momentum, pushing us upward, allowing us to get up those little pillars that you're meant to have. The climb ability you get from this boss to navigate normally. So, like, Sam went through that so fast I could barely even get an explanation now. That was insane.
Yeah, normally we have more time to explain it.
Oh my goodness. Well, now we're on the drill. It is a big drill. It's not a particularly hard boss fight, especially since
they made it easier.
Yeah, they also made it easier with the update, to be fair.
Yeah, they gave it a much bigger hitbox, which just means you can hit it with more of the wave blaster shots.
Yeah, so our particular setup works even better here, which, as you might imagine, more damage means we take less damage. More damage means we also get more spark blood, meaning we can heal more, which will culminate in one of the bosses we see somewhat soon being a complete pushover.
But yeah, like Snapkick mentioned, the upgrade we get from this boss fight is the wall climb ability. This is the last of the major abilities that we get. There's still one more ability we get, but it's more situational. So basically, from here on out for the rest of the run, we have basically our full movement kit. And, factor in the fact that we have the double jump, and we have the power of super bounces and super bomb bounces. Yeah, we're gonna demolish this game.
So there actually is at least 2 other movement abilities, one which we will grab, but it's much more situational, and other which is kind of like the Hollow Knight Crystal Dash that we just never get because, I mean, look at the way we move. We don't need that.
All right, and I got good RNG in this room, so I can just go straight to the next section because that guy was in the right spot. And yeah, that is one of those spots where you're supposed to have the super dash, but by just waiting until that enemy's in place, we can just, jump, dash, double jump, bounce off of him, and we're good to go. And you can also notice that, yeah, with the power of Wave Blaster, I can go from an empty Spark Blood meter to a full one in basically one shot.
Sorry, saw the Armadillo P just roll off there into lava to protect you, and you just didn't even notice. You didn't say anything. How could you?
Yeah, he prefers to work in silence. All right,
Strong silent type.
This guy's being mean to me and being in the way of my jumps. All right, there we go.
Yeah, those guys in particular are really annoying because those big orange balls, for whatever reason, do 2 damage, so...
Actually, they used to do 2 damage. They don't anymore.
They don't? Oh.
Oh, what?
What?
I've never died there before. That was unfortunate.
Unfortunate. I'm surprised. Yeah, I don't know how they hit you. Weird.
Well, it's gonna take like a minute to get back, so Cupid, if you've got anything to say.
Oh, sure do. So we are $25 away from meeting the Christmas Nights milestone. So this is basically a demo disc of Nights, which is going to be our next run, but it's all Christmas themed, and you have a mode where you could play as Sonic. So it's essentially just Nights of the Dreams, but it's Sonic and it's Christmas. So this will be met at a 2,500 milestone of all total donations, which we are only $25 away from. So I feel confident we could get that. We could get that met like very soon. And that closes at the end of the Nights into Dreams run. So you still have some time to make sure to get those donations in beforehand. And we do have a bid war incentive for our first run tomorrow at noon Eastern Standard Time for Sunset Overdrive. And this is the character model bid war. So you have the option to watch the runner play as a man, a muscular man, a woman, or a muscular woman. So make sure you get those donations in as well if you would like to see that.
I'm a bit of a weirdo. I've only played Christmas Nights for some reason. It's really cozy, though.
The only thing I've played from what was said is Sunset Overdrive.
Oh, I need to play that. I own it.
Would highly recommend. Very good game. Also, highly recommend speedrun, because you'll be able to watch that. Alright, but now that we're back to where we were, we have to finish climbing up this tower. It's kind of annoying to climb this room specifically, because of all those things shooting out shots at me. And yeah, it makes navigating this room kind of tricky.
It's like the big movement check of the game, because there's like electricity on the walls, the things shooting at you, but with the super bounce, we kind of just skip past most of it as a grace.
Also, the armadillipede during cutscenes is probably when it's the funniest. Also, this is Cerebellum. This is arguably the best boss in the run. Because
it's a really cool boss.
Because not only is it a cool boss in terms of like actual boss design, in the speedrun, trying to do this fight quickly just tests like both how good are you at like managing your damage, managing your health, managing your platforming specifically. And then you also have to know how to do the fight quickly as on top of all of that. So it's just a very good way of testing your skills. And the boss is not a pushover either, so it's like, if you're not careful, you can die here. It's difficult to die if you play things carefully and heal when you're low health. But, like I said, it's just like a test of all of your skills, and it's not even the final boss.
Yeah, definitely one of the most mechanically intensive bosses that happens to also turn into a Beyblade. That's two qualities I look for in a lot of bosses, really.
Oh yes, we get the funny lasers don't go away thing.
Oh, I haven't seen that before. That's awesome.
Yeah, if you kill the boss during that specific attack, the lasers just stay there. They don't go away. Doesn't matter because literally the only reason we kill that boss is so that the boss is dead. We do not get an upgrade from it.
No. Killing the boss unlocks a handful of progression doors that we will need.
Yeah, one of which is back where we came from, so we get to do this journey a third time.
Woo!
Which is fine, because this is still a cool journey. We didn't get good RNG the third time. That's a shame. We got good RNG the first two times, so now we have to wait for this enemy here to get into place. I was fully expecting the armadillipede to jump into the lava while I was waiting.
I was thinking that too. Yeah, like he's got to just jump in there going cannonball.
He's doing his best.
He's so good at it.
I think.
Best is certainly a word to describe it.
Can't tell.
He's definitely trying. I'll say that much.
He's doing a thing.
All right, but now it is the first of 3 story gates, basically, where in order to progress the game, we have to activate 3 subsystems. The way we reactivate each of these subsystems is by going to this area, interacting with a terminal, and then activating 3 switches. Sometimes the terminal goes off twice. I don't know why. It just loses time.
About it. You know, it doesn't lose time though. That's right, leaving, because you may have noticed the suspiciously enemy arena shaped room next to where we were there.
Yeah, unfortunately, you will never find out why it was suspiciously wave fight shaped.
It will remain a mystery because we can just force respawn back to where we need to be.
Yeah, so yeah, all of these have a forced wave fight on the way out. So if you're playing the game normally, you would activate the terminals like, oh yay, cool, I did it. Let's go ahead and walk out the door. And then they ambush you with an extra fight. But if you know that fight's there, you can just force respawn. The terminal stays active, you don't have to do the fight.
Ooh.
The lava was not being cooperative.
I saw like one frame of armadillipede flash out of the lava. Just I think he learned instant transmission. He's getting too powerful.
I mean, he is teleporting around a lot.
He's really good at it.
Yeah, but now we are making our way out of the mines. Basically, now that the mines are over, we're in the home stretch. Not because there's nothing interesting left in the run, or the rest of the run is, like, easy as cake by any means, but mines is by far the hardest part of the run, and so if you can get past mines on a good pace, as long as you don't make any major mistakes, you can, like, things are significantly easier from here on out.
Yeah, like, even with that one death taken post-mine skip, the fact that mine skip was as fast as it was, and the fact that Cerebellum was quick, everything else movement-wise was smooth, means this is still, like, a really good pace.
Yeah, so, for anybody curious, world record for this game is actually kind of in a weird place, where it's both simultaneously 43 minutes and 30 seconds and 42 minutes and 59 seconds, depending on if you care about video.
That?
Yes, it is my fault. I got an offline world record by accident.
By accident. Local speedrunner gets world record in the practice room of a convention.
Yeah,
Once
more
again.
at 11.
More at 11.
But yeah,
Which is a shame, too, because it is a really cool run.
Yeah, but yeah, world record with video is 43 minutes and 30 seconds. World record without video is 42 minutes and 59 seconds. But we do use that in-game timer that you might have noticed at the top there because it is extremely convenient. And also very good. Like, this is a very good in-game timer. Not every game with an in-game timer that has like an in-game speedrun timer specifically has them programmed well, unfortunately. This one is very, very good. Like, this one stays running while you have the game paused. This one, like, doesn't lose time in any places that don't make sense. And so it just, basically, you start the file, and it runs until you beat the game. It is also not the same as the file timer. If you get a time that's close to a minute barrier, because of the pause strats that we use, the file time will read a different time than the in-game speedrun timer.
Which, as the verifier for the game, let me tell you, I quite enjoy that. It is a very nice feature for my life to just fast forward through most of the run, then look at the end time and be like, oh yeah, hey, it's right. Cool, I can just accept this.
Also, here's a switch we can actually hit through a wall with the bomb, and now we can do this entire area out of order.
Yeah.
The intended way of going through this area is, like, you're supposed to change the water levels, so, like, there's a terminal on the right side of the area that you have to go do, change the water levels, open up some valves, then go back to the left side of the area, then you can go fight the boss here, and blah, blah, blah. We don't need to do any of that. We could just go straight down here, go to the left, and then go fight the boss. We don't have to worry about changing the water levels at all. The one consequence is we have to do a wave fight, but thankfully it's an easy wave fight.
Some higher tier enemies, but at this point, like, we burn through them all the same.
Yeah, it's like once you know how the enemies work, and the fact that we have a damage upgrade that makes us do way more damage than we're supposed to with the specific kit, yeah, it is not difficult.
I never noticed, but those purple things with their tongues kind of look like they're evil armadillopedes. I don't like that. We need to take care of them.
Yeah, they're armadillopedes.
Oh my god. It's all coming together.
But yeah, this is the water area of the game. And you might think, oh, water area, that means it's bad. Water areas are never any good. Once we get the upgrade from this next boss fight here, you will not be saying that anymore. Also, it's time for everybody's favorite boss fight, good old Bartholomew.
Yes, thank you, Bartholomew, for your contributions.
And you might be wondering why this boss is our favorite. Just don't blink, and you'll see why.
Here he comes. All right, there he goes. All right, heal up. There goes Bart. Okay. Okay, welcome back. All right, heal up.
Oh, he's taking slightly longer than usual. There we go.
Okay, there we go, and done.
I love that the pea was flopping around that whole fight.
He's trying his best to contribute,
He's doing his best.
He's doing so well.
That fight is so easy. I don't even know if the Armadillipede got to hit the boss a single time. That is, without doubt,
He just
the
kind of
easiest
flopped
boss.
around in the center.
That boss is without a doubt the easiest in the entire run, both because it's very easy normally, and because we have time to heal after every single attack. So even if the boss was like actually difficult to kill quickly, there's no risk of dying, basically.
Yeah, with the shotgun upgrade, it is very... You just smack him once, you get full health, and you just repeat on that. But yeah, now we have the swim ability. So we hit dash underwater, and we turn into drill for a moment, which lets us move on through.
Yeah, and if you hold down the jump button while you're underwater, you will do like a little swim jump upwards, and then immediately after that you have your dash again. So by just holding down the jump button, you can just constantly spam the dash button and just do it over and over again, and it makes things go significantly faster underwater than they would otherwise.
And an understated part of the water in this game in general is there's a fair amount of like actual water physics and momentum going on, to the point that the water ability has a sort of secret shine spark state you can enter, which you're meant to do for this room, but we sort of just bounce our way out. That like sends you flying. You can build up more momentum. It's really cool. It's genuinely one of like the coolest little bits of movement in this game, in my opinion, or intended movement anyways. But yeah, there's not a ton of water in this game, so you don't get to see it way too much, and we basically don't see in the run at all.
Yeah, but as we go through the subways for our second trip, we have to make a detour. But that detour is just a lot of platforming, so if you got anything else you want to say, Cubit, now's a good time.
Sure do. So No Glitches Allowed 2026 is raising money for Go Rescue, a dog shelter in Hampton, Virginia. Go Rescue works to provide a haven for homeless dogs, giving them the time, care, and love they need to find not just any home, but the right home. In addition to your monetary donations, Go Rescue is always in need of supplies to keep the pups happy and healthy. They accept dry and canned food, bleach, cheap paper towels, laundry detergent, furniture, and even vehicles. You can also go to gorescuedogs.com and go to How Can I Help tab to find their Amazon wish list. Let's help out the pups.
Go help out the Armadillipedes in real life.
Exactly.
Because that's definitely the same thing.
They're both wonderful. They're both all the best.
All right, but this is, like I mentioned before, that this is a small detour. This is actually not where the third subsystem they have to reactivate is, because for story reasons, we can't actually activate the third subsystem right now. We have to take a detour so that we can activate it ourselves. Because there was actually like a little AI companion that we picked up at one point that was helping us reactivate everything, but they are like, yeah, no, I'm out. We're not doing this anymore after the second subsystem, so we have to go find a way to do it ourselves. And the way we do that is by doing a funny platforming section that we do 100% as intended.
And there we go, well done.
Alright, and now we have the Synaptic Blade, which means we can go reactivate that third subsystem now.
So that area is meant to be like, you start going to the edge of the platform and there's like invisible platforms that pop up as you get close to them. You go all this way around at the end, just bounce.
Also, we grabbed this fast travel station like 25 minutes ago. This is why we grabbed it all the way back then, is so that we could come back here specifically, because the third subsystem is not far from the overgrowth that we went through earlier.
Yeah, this game actually has a lot of really cool built-in fast travel systems. You know, we use just death warping to get around a bunch, but there's a tram system, which we saw down where we were before. There's sort of like this artery warp system that we just used. I think there's one or two others. I forget. I think actually in more recent versions of the game, you can unlock warps between save points, can't you?
Yes. That is, unfortunately, it requires doing some extra stuff, so it would never be relevant in an 90% context. But it could be useful in other categories that are required to do more of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, this entire section, this is the part of the game where once we unlock the subsystem, all of these like fans turn on. You can like blast yourself around the area and then go get the super dash. But as we move past this suspiciously enemy-shaped room, we can go activate that last subsystem real quick.
So yeah, this whole area is kind of like the others where it has, you know, a boss and a power-up, but we're just going to see neither of those. I kind of don't even remember what the boss here is like. It's like a dragon or something,
it's the giant worm.
Giant worm, yeah.
Yes. And we would still love our armadillipede if it was a worm, so...
Forever and always.
Yeah, since we have to activate the subsystem ourselves, we're going to do that by not doing it at all the way the game wants us to. There's like 3 enemies scattered around this area that we have to kill to get to the exit, or we could just do that and go to the exit directly. And then
killing them just activates a platform that gets us up, but you know what?
And then immediately after is another platforming challenge that we can just force respawn. It spawns us out of it, and then we force respawn a second time, and it's time for the final boss.
There we go. Very easy.
That right there is like one of my favorite things personally, where it's just like, oh yeah, here's the entire platforming challenge that we just let you force respawn out of for some reason. I don't know why, but I'm not complaining. All right. But yeah, like I said, it is time for the final boss. We just gotta platform over there, and then the run's almost over. I don't think we actually named our armadillipede.
No, we didn't.
At all during this run.
You're the mother. You name it.
Yeah, but I'm not the one who paid for it.
Oh, true.
You know what? It might not be during this run, but if anybody wants to send a donation giving this guy a name, go for it. We will adhere to one of them, probably.
Probably.
But yeah, now it is time for the final boss. The final boss is not easy, but it's also not terribly difficult either. It is specifically difficult to do fast. That's the issue. Because phase 1 here, it just teleports around a lot. That's the issue. And so trying to get in as many hits as possible while not getting hit yourself is the challenge. Phase 2, on the other hand, is a lot more programmatic in that it does a specific attack, you respond with a specific set of movements to get as much damage as possible and avoid getting hit. But yeah, phase 1, like I said, is the one that's most difficult to do quickly, but because we have such good DPS at this point, we're still going to shred through it as long as we do good movement. There we go. Also, watch our friend here.
Oh. Whee!
Just keep watching him. Oh, is he just going to eat? Oh, it's a shame. It could damage the boss during this cutscene. There we go.
Yeah! Hero.
But yeah, it could damage the boss during the cutscene for some reason. It's really funny. Also, the boss grew legs. Might be, like, slightly relevant.
Yeah. Worth noting, I guess.
But like I mentioned, this boss, it basically does an attack, you respond by doing a specific thing to dodge the attack and punish it. And repeat on loop until it's dead. Which means time will be coming up after I skip the last cutscene after the boss fight, so just keep an eye out for that. I will let you know when it happens. And
I'm loving this speed action.
And hold. Time.
All right, GG.
GG!
All right. And that was Rebel Transmute any % with a friend. Because you all don't.
Do you want to give any shout outs?
Yeah, sure. If you want to see more of me, you can find me over at twitch.tv/IllegallySam. I run a bunch of random indie games, including but not limited to this one. I will probably run this one again in the not too distant future so I could beat that offline world record so we have an actual video for it. We'll see when that actually ends up happening, but I do plan on doing that at some point. And if you want to check out this game, check it out. It's a really fun game, even casually. I would recommend it. It is not terribly well known, which is a shame because it's a really, really cool game. But yeah, also, there's our names. It's in the credits.
Oh my god.
That's the first time, because like I said, we backed this game on Kickstarter. That is how we found out about this. And then we both speedran the demo during the Kickstarter. And then we speedran the actual game when it came out. So, yeah. Check out this game. check me out if you want to. That's pretty much what I've got. Snapkick, you got any last words?
Shout outs to the Armadillipede. That guy's my goat. I love him.
No, he's an
Yeah.
armadillipede. Not a goat.
Armadillipede. Sorry, he's my Armadillipede. Thank you. No. Definitely go check out Sam. Sam runs a lot of really cool stuff. I don't know. I don't speedrun very much, but I do a lot of retro achievements on Twitch. Same names here. So that's about it.
Also, shout to barely getting sub 47.
Nice.
But yeah, I think that's about it for us.
All right, thank you so much for your run. So sit tight, chat, while we get ready for the next run. You are watching No Glitches Allowed 2026. No Glitches Allowed, or No GA, is an annual charity event featuring speedruns that rely more on execution of intended mechanics than game-breaking glitches. No GA will be live from Wednesday, May 27th through Sunday, May 31st, raising money for Go Rescue Pet Adoption Center. To see the full schedule, just type !schedule in the chat. We are currently only $25 away from our next milestone, which is Christmas nights for Nights into Dreams, which is our next run. If this is met, Akia will boot up this game, which is essentially a demo disc of Nights, but it's Christmas themed. And this has a mode where you can play as Sonic. This closes at the end of the Nights into Dreams run. And we also have a bid war incentive that's currently open for Sunset Overdrive, which is our first run for tomorrow at noon Eastern Standard Time, and it's for the character model. So this closes at the beginning of the run, and you have a choice to be a man, a muscular man, a woman, or a muscular woman. So you can start donating towards those incentives as well. If you're looking to donate, make sure to type !donate in chat to get the link to our page where you can make a direct donation. We have amazing incentives and bid wars for you to choose from, so make sure to get those donations in to help get them met. No Glitches Allowed 2026 is raising money for Go Rescue, a dog shelter in Hampton, Virginia. Go Rescue works to provide a haven for homeless dogs, giving them the time, care, and love they need to find not just any home, but the right home.